And we've got some of these clips. Hey, here you go. Here's a video of a police officer shaking a dude's hand as they're walking through. The cops clearly don't care anybody is here.
So this is a clip, this is a video that Timpool made. It just came out like an hour ago, claiming that the whole January 6th thing is just a big hoax. It's all nonsense because new clips have come out. So we're gonna have to check it out. So I am Brentley, and this is the PunkApostate. Let's go. So like I said, this is Timpool. He is hilarious. I honestly, I don't understand how his audience doesn't figure this out. Like he just tells people what they want to hear. And evidence be damned. And it's really weird, just the things that he acts like cancels out other stuff. So like he's got these new videos, right, of January 6th, just came out. The new crazy Speaker of the House guy without a bank account came out and released these, I guess. And so now we have a bunch of new clips from him, and I guess the new clips cancel out all the other. I don't know how this works in their brain, but let's check it out. Hold on, I'm not gonna do his
January 6th footage publicly released by House Speaker Mike Johnson. I'd like to just pause and say, dude, why on a Friday? Come on a Friday. We know why he did it. He had to do it. This shows they really didn't want to do it, but okay, fine. It finally happened.
Do you think it's better to? What is the Friday thing? That proves they didn't want to do it. That proves they didn't want to put out evidence that will give crazy people like this guy a lot more ability to data mine. They didn't want to do that because of the day that it was really. I don't know why I try to figure out what this guy's actually trying to get at.
Do it on this Friday, considering next week is like, if he did it on Monday, it's a holiday.
That's the perfect time to do it. Absolutely. It's Thanksgiving, dude. Next week, we are not going to be here Thursday and Friday. We will have a culture war episode up Friday, but this is
hold on. So he just is calling it that. Like, okay, man. He's like, okay, we're going to have a culture war thing. Like, culture war is like what we call the shit flinging back and forth, like fake nonsense political fights, that not fake nonsense, but like stuff that is intended to keep conservatives angry, and then us having to like guard the people that they're angry at politically, and try to keep them from removing all their fucking rights. So he just says it outright. Oh, this is a culture war episode. Jesus Christ, man.
This is the perfect time to drop on a Tuesday right before Thanksgiving. So when everyone is at their home with their liberal aunt, they can be like, what do you mean? All the footage just got released. Here.
That's funny. See, we all have our crazy right-wing uncle, but they got their liberal aunt. That's funny how it works like that. We got crazy racist uncle. They got crazy blue-haired fucking feminist aunt.
Here it is. To be fair, you can still do that. No one's saying you can't. But it does.
Because time is linear,
That hit the press the same way. So he could have released this earlier in the week, but fine, so be it. Now, this is the big news. Mike Johnson says, today I'm keeping my promise to the American people and making all the January 6th tapes available to all Americans. Bang. There it is. Take a look at this. We got it all, baby. It's right here at cha.house.gov/CHA subcommittee, blah, 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 blah. The link has been published online by tons of people on Twitter. And we've got some of these clips. Hey, here you go. Here's a video of a police officer shaking a dude's hand.
What? Shaking his hand? Oh my God. I mean, that means the whole thing's a hoax, right? That proves that. So like it literally says it was a hoax. January 6th tapes proving no insurrection, all caps. It was a hoax. Cops helps, whatever. Jesus Christ.
As they're walking through, the cops clearly don't care anybody is here.
What I don't understand too is like, they're like, oh yeah, the cops are helping and stuff, man. The cops were helping him out. So clearly Biden had the cop. What? Wait, well, hold on. Trump was still fucking president, man. I'm sure there were cops that were pro-Trumpers, dude. He was still president. And the cops worked for Trump at that point. You know, they're all like, why wasn't there any like extra security? Because of Trump, man. He wanted them to be able to take over this place as easily as fucking possible, which means, you know, he can. It's so ridiculous that they seem to think that Biden somehow started his presidency, you know, by this time or something. You know, all the cops were in there that were Biden supporters, apparently. Like,
they're not asking anybody to leave. Now, I understand that in some circumstances, people were fighting with police. Yep, those violent people should be arrested and charged. I understand. In some circumstances, the cops are on camera saying, guys, you need to leave. Totally get it. However, the point is, a large majority of what happened well after the violence on the other side of the building. And
wait, so after it was all done, so once they were done being violent, they were then not violent, and they like left. And that means what? Like, what do you think that means, man? Like, what is? I don't understand this.
And the police not only allow it to happen, but were actually look. People they were allowed to leave.
They were allowed to leave. Yeah, they were being asked to leave, man. It was the end. What the fuck are you talking about? Even Trump made a video that was like, "Hey, can you guys please go? It's time to go. Just go. Okay, go home. We, you know, good job. I love you." But go home. I'm not even kidding. That how does he do this? I don't understand how stupid his audience could possibly, like, how can they? Anyway, all right. I'm just getting hung up here. Hey, Jasper said Jan 6th is another topic I'm really interested in. My what is that? One NZ friend turned out to be a solid MAGA hat. Very disappointed. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. That sucks. I don't know what kind of friend that is. One NC. What does that mean? I don't know. But yeah, that sucks, man. I got a couple MAGA hat friends myself, and it's funny how it works. Like when you have a friend, you know, that you like talking to about stuff or whatever, and then they find out. They're like, you know, for me, it was like find out I'm an atheist because I don't really hide it. You know, I don't care. And I'm not mean about other people's stuff. Well, just I say according to me. I'm not religious, you know, and I usually say it like that. I'm not religious. But it's funny how once that happens, they are then, it's like they feel like an obligation to like hunt me down and then be like, hey, what about this argument? What about that? Huh? What about anything? You know, I mean, come on. What, you know? It's really weird how as long as you say you're an atheist, then everybody has like, you know, has made you a mission to debate with you as often as possible. You know, it's ridiculous. And that's why I think a lot of us atheists like end up being like those debate bro, because we're forced to be all the time, you know what I mean? Like it's, you know, it's almost required just for our atheism. It's really fucking frustrating.
Walk right in and right out. There was no effort at all by any of the officers to stop this. And I'll tell you this right now, as someone with experience. In fact, I think in this video,
what does that prove, man? I don't understand this. So because the cops by the end were exhausted and we're like, "Will you guys just fucking leave? Come on, okay, just go, man." Like, and they're like, "Okay," and they walk out. They're like, "See, no insurrection. It was a hoax." Like, fucking what?
You've got a guy where there's a video where someone gets his cuffs removed. I don't know if I have that one pulled up actually.
They removed him?
Actually, yeah. Was it this one?
Then it's a hoax. You know.
Let me see if it's this video right here.
Wow.
No, maybe not. Just a cop shaking some guy's hand.
Yeah, it was a shorter one.
Let me tell you about protests in New York City.
let me tell you about protests. Now, there are these things that happen when the people are unsatisfied with the government. And what they would do is they all hold signs and accumulate in a group.
In Washington, D.C. How about this? In Washington, D.C. on January 20th, 2017, around 215 far leftists were all caught by the police and arrested as a single group. What did the police do? Stood in a circle around them. That's it. They stood in a circle around and said, "You're not free to go." And what did everyone do? Stood there. You mean to tell me the insurrectionists are in the building and the cops are like, "Here you are, sir. The exit is right this way." Shakes his hand, takes a selfie, and now they're going to criminally charge these people. The best example, as I mentioned earlier, is from the Dinesh D'Souza's Police State documentary.
So Commander said, so if I break into a building that I'm not supposed to be in, that I know I'm not supposed to be in, live in with an angry mob, I'm not at least guilty of trespassing. Yeah, and that's honestly what a lot of them are getting is trespassing. The other thing that these right wingers are so fucking, of course they need to fucking forget this, because it really hurts their narrative, because it just shows how stupid they are. One of the reasons that these folks are all getting crazy amount crazy charges that are like, really hefty charges, was because Trump had basically just like a couple months earlier had made it a federal crime to damage any kind of government property, any federal property, right? He made it a really hefty crime, I think with like a 5-year minimum or some shit like that, in order to target the the George Floyd protests, and Black Lives Matter protesters and stuff, right? So they made it like this federal crime to damage federal property, and then they go and do the fucking insurrection and they're like, hold on, how come we're getting treated so unfairly? What, the Black Lives Matter people didn't get these kind of charges? And it's like, yeah, dumbass, because your fucking guy was trying to target them right before you went and damaged a bunch of federal property, you fucking idiot.
So it's not the best example. There's several examples where a woman says her nephew showed up an hour after. So the doors are open. There's no barricades. There's the cops have let everybody in, and he walks up and he's like, "Hi, how's it going?"
The cops had let everybody in. You mean they just gave up stopping people because it was like 1 million people just bashing into them and going past? Yeah, at some point I'd be like, all right, fuck it. They were understaffed. There was hardly any police there. It was insane, and and I think that was probably done on purpose. And the fact that they wouldn't call in the reserves. Trump refused to call in any kind of other reserves to like help the police, the Capitol Police.
Come on in. Apparently, he walks around and then he leaves, and they've given him all of these charges. They want to lock him up forever.
Hey, Ember, what's up? I find it helpful to ask Christy folk how they feel about pagans. Some are demons, but most say something like, "Oh, they're invested in obvious mythology." Same goes for you, fam. That's funny. Yeah, I used to think they were evil, just straight up. There was no pagan to me in my mind meant Satan worshiper, even though I know that's not that's not what it means as far as I understand now. But it's just kind of funny because when you got your brain in that like my religion is true and everything else is evil blender, that false dichotomy brain blender thing. That it tends to be everybody's worshiping Satan if they're not my religion, and sometimes even my version of my religion, because Catholics would be like, oh, that is just evil, that is weird, they're worshiping Mary is what they're doing, so it's just kind of funny how that works.
I met a woman who said her and her husband showed up an hour or so after all the violence to this exact story. There were no barricades. They've been removed. The doors had been up.
They'd been bashed in, man. They've been like ripped apart and like moved, just slammed and moved out of the way. You mean, that there wasn't a maintenance crew that came in and put the barricades back up before everybody fucking left? Weird, man. That must mean it's a hoax. You fucking idiot.
Propped open by the police. The police had waved people in and they showed up, waving little flags, having no idea what was going on. Now they're being sent to jail.
Why is he like saying waving the little flags? Like they have like a little mini flag. Like, what's even going on? I don't even know what's happening here, guys. Hello? Why are we? What's happening right now?
For this.
Was there any follow-up to that reporting from a few days ago about those buses that allegedly had like undercovers?
Ghost buses.
Yeah. Was that verified?
It's Ghostbusters. And, there's an Afterlife movie that just came out not too long ago. It's pretty good. It's got the Stranger Things kid.
Okay.
No, the media is calling that one a conspiracy theory.
Okay. Well, so maybe it is.
Well, no. Are you joking? It means in 3 months it'll be proven true.
Oh, right. I mean,
that is exactly the kind of mentality that conspiracy people love. Eventually, my conspiracy theory will be proven true. You mean you've just been given enough time for you to, again, data mine and look for use have like a ton of confirmation bias to just like figure out that you're right, of course, because you got enough time to collect the things that you think prove it true and to ignore all the things that prove it false.
Oh, what are you doing here?
Just like the Wuhan Institute of Virology. We'll figure out about, shortly.
Hey, Pete.
Look, I mean, I think
What?
that anybody.
Pete, what are you doing here? You don't come to these. What are you doing? What's up, man? Said, hey, buddy, just taking a break from delivery. All right. Oh, you getting some demons, doing some deliverance stuff. You should charge people on the street to get the demons out of them. That's what you should do, because that's what good, wholesome, moral people do.
Anybody that's followed this story closely has known since day 5 after J6 that this was largely overblown. So I'm not exactly surprised, but I just hope that this helps in bringing justice.
Never say, who you gonna call? Ghost buses.
I would like an explanation from Johnson, the new speaker, as to what was the holdup. I would like.
Hey, Jerry, what's up? Is that a close-up photo of a ball of earwax framed behind him? Oh, behind Timmy. I didn't know. I don't know. Let me get back
to know actually from the old guard. Why did
everybody watch for the earwax ball?
Did it take 2.5 years for us to get this information? It seems so obviously necessary that we get to see it.
I feel like there's been people in Congress, like there's enough information where you can kind of say, yeah, the federal government is behaving outside of what is legal, right? Like it's pretty clear that they're using false pretenses to punish political dissidents and punish people for their political agendas. And I don't know why.
But, Trump wasn't doing that when he sent unidentifiable, unmarked agents across state lines in a state that did not ask for federal help. These unmarked federal agents went and detained people on the street, literally just took them off the street, put them in a van and just sat there like, all right, we got you. And they're like, okay, you're gonna do something? No, we're just keeping you here, like just to intimidate, really. But that wasn't an oversight. That wasn't punishing political dissidents. Trump right now has said publicly that he's going to go after his political opponents using the law, basically like this. And he's trying to say that because they're going after him for actual crimes that he definitely fucking committed, sometimes admitting it on tape. And but because they go after then they're going after a political adversary or whatever, and so he's like, I'm going to use that as reason to go after my political rivals and stuff, like a good little fascist would, or a good big fascist, I should say.
There aren't more people in Congress that are actually saying it. There's a handful of people that are actually talking about it, but most of them don't actually want to make a firm statement about the violations of the law and violations of Americans' rights that the current administration is doing.
I have a thesis for you.
Please, by all means.
My thesis would be that people, representatives in Congress or in Senate, have watched the FBI worked surreptitiously to try and undermine Donald Trump. I mean, they tried to impeach him twice off of totally faulty information. You had false affidavits.
Faulty information? What are you talking about, man? We had a transcript of him pressuring some. Oh, God damn, it's so fucking stupid. Like it's so annoying when right wingers, they are just so fucking dishonest. And you know what it is. I know they like seem like they're lying to you. The problem is they're lying to themselves. Okay, so when they are lying to you, they're not actually. They're not consciously lying to you. They're just so deep in the lies that they tell themselves that when they're talking to you, you're just like, dude, you're just making shit up to rationalize literally everything. Holy fucking shit. It's like when you bring up slavery in the Bible too, like a Bible believing Christian, and they're like, well, hold on now. It's this is actually a slow process now. I mean, God couldn't just say not to do it. Everybody would freak out or whatever. They couldn't handle it being like against the commandments, making a commandment that says don't do that. No, you had to slow welcome. And then finally, by the time it got to Paul, then he said that slavery is bad because he asked for his friend to not be a slave anymore, So that's what he meant by that, was that slavery is bad.
affidavits that were filed by FBI agents. These people are scared to death of speaking out against the FBI, the CIA, the entire intelligence agency apparatus, and I don't blame them. But we need courage right now. That's the problem, is that these people are just not being courageous, and that's what we've actually put them there to be.
Everyone on the January 6th subcommittee.
Dude, it's crazy when, they think that they're just letting them do, like, everything isn't based off of the just an insane amount of evidence. That's why they're going after people. It's so obvious too, because when you see with all the Trump indictments and him going through all of his court bullshit lately, they're trying so hard to not to not go after him like they should. And Trump's trying to get them to go after him. He keeps on breaking gag orders. He keeps on, just being insane in court, trying to piss off the judge. So that way the judge can get mad and then do something, and they'll be like, oh, see, the judge is completely biased. And his lawyers have already actually come out and tried to claim that a judge is biased. And so that's what they're doing. They're trying to piss off the judge. Anyway, so they're trying so hard to not, to be fair with this guy, and not only be fair, but actually kind of just letting him get away with a bunch of shit that nobody else would be able to get away with. But it's because he wants this fucking martyr complex. He wants them to come after him. So he can be like, oh, look, man, the left are just fascists. They're just coming after us, man. They're going to take us all down. Oh, man, they're going to come after you next. They're going to come after you.
Should be expelled from Congress.
Agreed.
They lied, manipulated to steal political power. And the sad thing is, we all know it.
What?
We've always known it. And these changes will not come. However, that being said, it's
crazy how many false assumptions these people are working with. That whole thing that he was just saying there was because, like, he thinks that they did actually steal the election. Okay, so in their mind, the election was actually stolen. They were perfectly valid to be able to march to the Capitol because the election was being stolen. But now they're saying that it wasn't even that big a deal and the cops were just letting them in. I don't see how that helps it at all. But it's like assumption piled on top of assumption piled on top of assumption. It's just basically that every fucking rationalization thing that Trump has tried to spin to the American people, to his base or whatever, that it's all true. It's just all true. Every fucking thing that Trump's ever said, it's all true. That's the assumptions that we're working with to get, for these fucking guys. Jesus.
What happened in Israel has really been a lightning bolt on this country. An earthquake of such tremendous magnitude. The left is ripped to shreds, and seeing these people say they're going to vote for Trump. We'll get into this a little bit later, but I'm actually more optimistic than I've ever been when I see hardcore never Trumpers being like, I'll vote for the guy.
Okay. So if I break into this guy's house in the middle of this commander, so if I break into this guy's house in the middle of the night, overpower him so that he can't do anything, and then peacefully sit there and watch TV, drink his beer, and eat his pizza, it's okay then. Yeah, I know. I don't know how he could sit there and take this information and think that it somehow cancels out all of the other stuff. It doesn't, wow, it's like you have to be so deluded for this type of rhetoric to be impactful to you, but these people are they're delusional. They're delusional, and they just want to be told what they want to hear. And timpool fucking provides that, like crazy. So
really? Now I got to tell you something really crazy about that. January 6th was supposed to be an insurrection where they tried to overthrow the United States and take it over. And now you've got people they don't care anymore because of Israel. Again, what? I know. We'll get into this a little bit later, but my point is, when it comes to January 6th subcommittee, their goal was insurrection. They sat in those committee hearings, withholding information, lying about what was going on. Why? To steal political power. That is an insurrection. That is seditious conspiracy. And these videos only prove more of what we already knew. The cops are waving people in and shaking their hands.
So what?
How can you call that an insurrection?
But how does that prove anything? Trump was the president. The cops would have been there under Trump's watch. And I'm sure there was a ton of Trumper cops. How is this fucking evidence to the contrary? How is this evidence that it still wasn't obviously a fucking insurrection? Just they had people on the inside helping. This is crazy. How did they flip that narrative? Like, I don't understand.
It doesn't actually begin then. It began. I mean, it may have even begun earlier than this, but the most obvious example to me is when you have, the spying that's happening on the Trump campaign before he's even elected president. And you have
Obama.
Yeah, and that was.
They are starting with every conspiracy is true. Oh my God. No wonder this type of bullshit works on these fucking people. He was spying on me the whole time. It's Obama, okay?
It's directed by Obama and Hillary Clinton. But Biden
Hillary
also
Clinton did not win anything. That did not. She lost the election, man. She didn't have any power. What are you talking about?
was riding shotgun for much of that. So
Insane.
It just seems absolutely bizarre to me that the representatives in Congress aren't willing to actually speak out about how perilous these circumstances are.
You know what Obama understood?
Addressed.
Obama understood what hurt Nixon. And you know what hurt Nixon? The press.
Mm-hmm.
And so Obama said, if I am going to...
Pretty sure Nixon hurt Nixon, because, he broke the law to try to do the same type of stuff Trump is doing.
To engage in a seditious conspiracy after murdering American citizens and bombing children in other countries. He said, if I am going to try and steal power and destroy the United States...
Hold on, Jasper said, I believe Tucker Carlson brought this up. What, the same type of art? I mean, I'm sure. Tucker Carlson's just this guy for an older audience. Like that's all it is. But he's at least honest about which side of the aisle he's on. Timpool is so fucking dishonest. He pretends to be a centrist. So fucking stupid. Think about that. Like this whole time, the way he's been talking and everything. Who could possibly see this guy as a fucking centrist? It's just like open to both sides, that's open to left and right. How fucking stupid are people if they think that, dude?
Government and this country and the lives of the American people, I will have to own the press before I do it. And the reason why he has not gone down as one of the worst presidents.
How truckers? I think they drank chemtrails right out of the chalice, intended for adrenochrome.
In history is because the press has just kept lying in his defense. But I truly hope, that within 8 years, the narrative has flipped on the horror that was the Obama administration, the psychotic, deranged, and evil things that man did. Let's just talk about the killing of Abdulrahman al-Awlaki. Let's talk about the extrajudicial assassinations of several others. Let's talk about the National Defense Authorization Act, indefinite detention.
Wait, you guys are against that? What about the one that Trump had executed? Trump had an Iraq? Was it Iraq general? I don't know. Some
provision in which Obama said he had the right to take you in secret in the middle of the night to an offshore military vessel, a naval vessel, and torture you. That's it. That's a decree he made. He prosecuted more whistleblowers and journalists on the Espionage Act than any other president.
I don't know what he's talking about, but I'm pretty sure on the left, we've always been against torture of people, them try waterboarding and things like that. And I can't remember who, I think it was Hitchens. Hitchens was actually in favor of it. I could be mistaken. If anybody knows what I'm talking about and I'm wrong about this, please let me know. Hitchens was actually in favor of waterboarding, but because he's a good skeptic, he was like, you know what, I'll try it. And so they did it to him, and then he changed his position, actually, you know what, that is actually torture. I was like, wow, dude. I mean, that's a way to find something out, I guess, especially if you're sitting there saying it's not that bad. But was that Hitchens? I can't remember. I thought it was, but I could be mistaken.
President, and he spied on Donald Trump, working with Hillary Clinton. We know this, and still he gets.
How do we know this? Where do we have? Where did they get this information from?
He gets past all this. Why? He owned the press.
Well, and he also won a Nobel Peace Prize.
Owned the press?
For nothing.
For nothing.
I mean,
to top all that off.
He was given a Nobel Peace Prize.
Well, sure.
He didn't win.
But let me just add one more item that's in my wheelhouse as to reasons to not like Barack Obama. He was responsible for the executive order that implemented diversity, equity, inclusion in every federal department across our government. That was his action. The last month of Trump.
Yeah, all those just wanting to know, wanting to educate people on different cultures so that we're not sitting there having a bunch of fucking fights all the time, so that white people aren't running around as fucking saying offensive shit all the time, you know, and in government spaces and in government jobs and stuff like that. That's just so terrible to like be like trying to get ahead of that, you know, make it so maybe everybody can understand how like understand what is offensive to other people, just so that we can have this thing work more smoothly. But I guess it's, you know, with right wingers, it's all the best work is after the fact. You know, let all the things be said and then have them fight, and then you can just figure it out after that, I guess.
Trump's presidency, he tried to undo it. And then the very first day of Biden's presidency, they redid it. That's how important this is to them, that they are able to essentially divide and conquer, which is exactly what DEI is, even though it's about diversity, right? But really what it is about oppression Olympics, and it's dividing and making us all, you know, become at each other's throats.
God.
It's terrible.
Dude, who's the ones being at the throats, man? You guys. If you would just fucking relax. Who do you think is trying to divide? This is so stupid. And it drives me insane that, like, you know, we have different groups of people being like, hey, let's just educate people on like what is upsetting to other people so that like we can just all get along without accidentally, you know, saying shit or trying to touch a black person's hair or whatever the fuck it is, you know. Like just trying to do that. That's divisive. That's divisive. Like, and that's the oppression Olympics and shit. What? You're the one doing the oppression Olympics thing, man. You're saying that is such a bad thing. You're the one being divisive. It's crazy that they can't get that they're the ones with the fucking problem.
Why did Trump wait till the end of his tenure to do that?
I couldn't tell you, because it was
he doesn't know what
executive
he's
order.
doing.
Yeah, he could have done it at any point. I think Tim's right. He doesn't know what he's doing, unfortunately, which is why I like Vivek so much, because I know for a fact he understands exactly what I'm talking about.
Man, it is. So I'd love to imagine a Vivek Ramaswamy presidency day one, but you need more than.
Al Trucker said, yeah, the Patriot Act was a thing, and we had issues up here with people who were accused of war crimes, and then they got let out, paid off, etc., and it split people here to a lot of hate. Interesting.
Just unfortunately, you need more than the know-how to win to win, right? And Vivek may be the best. Day one, he goes in with a scalpel, an obsidian blade, and just perfectly excises all of the rot and helps turn this country around.
I mean,
but winning is something different.
I know, and I think Trump is clearly in the catbird seat, if you will, to win again. But you know, I'm still holding out hope that if Vivek you know, broadens his horizons and he's willing to consider a VP slot with Trump,
I think they're going to have to come to the realization that Trump's, I mean, I can't remember what state it was, but they're trying to get him removed from the ballot because of the insurrection and just all the lying and just, you know, all the crimes that he's been caught committing, you know, and is now being sort of kind of held responsible for. You know, that those types of things should be able to knock them off a ballot. And I think they need to kind of come to the realization that that's probably something like that is going to happen. I think, you know, some of these consequences are going to run into his attempt to become president again.
I think that would be probably as good as I could hope for,
yes,
in terms of a winning ticket that would actually deliver much of what the libertarians would like to see. Not all of it, obviously, but much.
I just like to see people get fired.
Me too, brother.
I'd like to then see after that some criminal prosecution.
Yes, thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean,
the thing that you're crying about right now, the thing that you are mad is happening on your side. But as long as your team's doing it, then it's okay. And then that's what you actually want. This is where you can see the right is so inconsistent. I feel like a lot of us on the left like we want it to be even. You know, if we're going to be prosecuting one side for this, we should prosecute everybody for this. It doesn't matter, like whatever it is, the people should be held responsible if they do something wrong. The problem is the right is constantly doing stuff wrong, you know, and getting caught, and then they want to sit there and call it like a political attack when they're being held responsible for things they definitely did fucking do.
I mean, there's this you know, misunderstanding about libertarians and anarcho-capitalists that like we don't want we don't believe in the state, so we don't want to see criminals.
He's an anarcho-capitalist. Go fuck yourself.
Put behind bars. Like, couldn't be further from the truth. Like,
hey, you can't speak for all libertarians. They get pissed off when you do that kind of stuff.
well, I'm going to do it anyways. I don't really care. They can get mad at me. Yeah, I think
They're already mad anyway. They started mad, with their little flag, and they're just thinking everybody's stepping on them and stuff. They're just already mad.
if there's one group of people that all libertarians agree ought to be behind bars, it's corrupt politicians that are ruling over us against our will, from Jump Street.
Well,
so,
Phil, would you agree?
Well, I'm not a
Pretty sure
libertarian,
anarcho-socialists would think that as well.
but
No, but
yeah.
from your perspective, in your opinion, you said people don't like talking for libertarians, but you think libertarians want to see the corrupt politicians locked up?
I think that there is the most if there is a role for the state, then policing corruption is probably among the most fundamental things that the state should have to do. I mean, you don't want a state that's passing a lot of laws anyways. You want to keep laws as local and low impact as possible. But
they're okay with like the repealing of Roe v. Wade and shit like that. Like it's so weird when they're on the one hand they're like, oh, we gotta not have laws made and everything, except for stopping people from having sex. We should make it so that people can get arrested for having sex consensually. Fucking Jesus.
if you've got people that are entrusted with creating law, then I think that the policing of those people is among the most important
I'd like
things
to
that a state can do.
I'd like to point something very important out. These videos are not the only videos we have proving the Capitol Police were aiding and abetting the January 6th insurrection. There's videos of them opening the doors.
So stupid. Like it's just such a conspiracy. But wouldn't that would just prove that they were on Trump's side. Like what do they think, that the cops work for fucking Biden, who wasn't president yet? It doesn't make these people are idiots.
There's videos of them waving people in. There's a video of one of them wearing a MAGA hat and waving people in. There's a video of them shaking hands. Now there's more videos of them shaking hands, releasing people from flex cuffs, giving them directions to insurrectionists. And the most important thing, the Capitol Police have been expanded under the Biden administration into new locations, which would mean the Capitol Police.
So
the principal.
He is making it sound like Biden was somehow in control of the police. That seems to, am I crazy? But like, does he not know how fucking time works? The time is linear, that things can't have to happen after other things that have, like, what the fuck?
Well, and most powerful
Jesus
organization
Christ.
involved in
Stupid.
facilitating the January 6th insurrection have been given more power by the Biden administration, which would mean Joe Biden himself is engaged in an insurrection by aiding and abetting insurrectionists, and therefore is disqualified under the 14th Amendment.
Fire him.
That's so stupid.
that's some
This person is delusional, man. That makes no fucking sense. He wasn't president.
Annie Willis
Jesus.
judicial work there.
I don't care. I want to see the paperwork. Look, if they're gonna claim Donald Trump did this, that, or otherwise, and it's all BS nonsense. I just gave you all your novel legal theory. Roll with it. File the lawsuits.
Yeah.
Yes, they're losing, but do it anyway.
You had Lauren De Laguna on
So you just admitted that was a really stupid idea because your lawsuits are all losing.
your show last week, and she made an interesting point that
Oh, the Moon Lord is there. I didn't even know he was there.
sometimes people are guilty of crimes. You don't want to prosecute them for the betterment of society. Like, that's a legal philosophy. And there are times and places when you would not prosecute, even though they've done something wrong. I thought that was interesting, considering our current political paradigm and the whole tit for tat. I'll get your guy, and in 4 years you're going to get me, and then 4 years after that, someone's going to come and get you back. Like, maybe there's
That wasn't the case until Trump started doing it, man. That's why this is insane. Like he set up that fucking paradigm. It's okay.
See, this is the problem with that, because I am a very forgiving person, and I'm also Buddhist meditating type like yourself. So the issue that I have is that it's not tit for tat. It's one direction. Give me an example, like a real example of a Democrat who plays ball with the establishment that actually sees like hard time behind bars. It's very rare.
Right.
It's very, very rare. So the issue is not so much that, the GOP is being persecuted. It's that the left is never being persecuted. So if that's the case, you don't have justice at all.
Well, to be fair, Eric Adams in New York You know, he gets upset about immigration. So what happens?
Right.
Oh, the feds come crashing down
because he didn't play ball, right?
That's right.
And I mean, that's really
God, they're on to like stuff that I have, because you almost, with a lot of this stuff, you kind of have to have your head in the right wing media blender to get what the fuck they're talking about. And I have no idea what they're saying. So it's like ridiculous. But it is really funny just to see how they can turn, like, they can have new footage come out, because of course they're like trying to do whatever they can to not continue to talk about what the actual video is about, which is GOP releases January 6th tapes proving no insurrection. It was a hoax. Cops helped, which none of this follows, man. It's like, I can't believe how illogical these people are, like how they just cannot think at all, it seems, about this type of stuff. Because again, like, cops helping does not prove that it was a hoax or anything. It just proves that there were cops that were, actually on the side of the insurrection. That doesn't mean that it was Biden. It wouldn't mean that it was Trump doing it, because, okay, all right, I know I keep repeating it, but it's just so stupid. Like, how do they not get this? The way this thing fucking works. It's insane. Jesus Christ. But, you know what else is insane? Good insane sex. That's right. Go to adamandeve.com, enter that code word Brentley. That's BRENTLY at checkout, and get 50% off almost any one item, 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Just go to adamandeve.com, enter that code word Brentley. And yeah, get your exclusive offer. Get your butt some stuff. Just get it. Just do it. Just do it good. If you do want to support the show, there's a couple different ways you can do that. First and easiest is to like, subscribe, share the show, and comment below if I get anything wrong or if I say anything stupid or whatever. Just let me know. I like to know if I'm saying stupid things, But if you want to support the show financially, you can become a patron at patreon.com/PunkApostate, or you can give us a one-time payment on Cash Tag, or our Cash App. Our Cash Tag is PunkApostate, so you can do that. But mostly the main thing is to stay logical, loving, skeptical, and compassionate. And we'll see you next time.